Okay. Hi, everyone. So I'm Smithy Q, and happy 2025. I hope everyone's new year is off to a great start. And today I'm going to start a new series. It's going to be from something that many of you have been saying. I'm getting a lot of messages along the lines of Smithy, your course is great, your course is wonderful, but there's no video content for the annotated games. So let's fix that. Starting today, and intermittently throughout the rest of the year, I'm not sure how long or what my schedule is going to be like, but I'm going to post a video on every single game in the annotated games section. And let's start today with number one. But I've never been a huge fan of the chessable read mode. It's hard to draw the arrows, and I can't make my own moves. So let's do this instead. Instead of going inside the course, let's go over here. Let's head to Lichess. And what we're going to do is we'll search for me. That's Smithy Q. Yep, excellent. Aha. I'm going to click on this studies button. And then let's make sure I go to the public studies because this is what you would see. Yes. Let's click on. Oh, no, not this one. This here is the introduction. That's the wrong section. That's part one. Maybe I'll click on this, just making sure. No, that's the tactical section. That's part two. That's not what I want. This is it. This here are the annotated games. This is what we want to see. And you know what? I think even this is going to look much better. All right. So let's jump on in here. We're going to do game one. This is the first game of the annotated game section. And hopefully I can express my thoughts again in video to complement the text that you've already read. Because I've gotten a lot of pushback for this game. People have questioned why I included it. And they do. And I think a lot of people, when they look at this game, are looking at it through the lens of the computer. Because Black makes a lot of really good moves, according to the computer, that I'm going to say are completely wrong. Because computers don't play chess the way that humans play chess. And specifically, computers don't play chess the way that adult amateur beginners should play chess. And I think this game is going to make that clear. Or at least I'm going to attempt to do that. Let me know how I do. So let's start here. And again, just for context, White is playing without a rook, but it probably doesn't matter because White is Siegbert Tarrasch. In 1890, he was probably the strongest player in the world, unofficial world champion, maybe. Kelz is basically you or me. And so there's a huge disparity in skill at the time. They did odds games, and so White is going to play without a rook. And then what White is going to do is he's going to play the King's Gambit, f4. And the idea is, even though White is really good, if he just does normal developing moves, he's down a rook. No, he's got to do something. He's got to do something active, and so he's going to jump right on in, and he's going to try and create tactics and threats. And really, he's giving Black a chance to go wrong. What does Black do? Black is going to take the pawn, and then after knight f3, he's going to play g5. And I really want to focus on Black, on how Black is thinking throughout this game. So what has Black done? Black has taken a pawn, and now he's defending that pawn. So is the purpose of the opening to grab material, or is the purpose of the opening to develop our pieces? Of course, if you've gone through my course, you know it's to develop our pieces. And Black isn't doing that. And then second, Black is defending a pawn. He's already up a rook. Does he need more material? Probably not. A difference between a rook and a rook plus a pawn? Why not develop? Why not, develop? Why not attack in the center? Even just like develop with knight c6 is not the best move, but you're up a rook. Focus on developing Black. Or you could play g5. Then after bishop c4, you can play g4. Then after castle, you can take that knight. Woohoo! Now you're up a piece. But you were already up a rook. And after this, look at the critical development factor. White has 3 pieces developed. He's already castled. White has a bigger control of the center. Now, yes, Black is up a rook and a knight, and he's up a massive amount of material. But this development leave gives White excellent practical chances. Now, if you turn the computer on, it's going to say that Black is completely winning. But if you turn the computer on all the way back here on move 1, it's going to say Black is completely winning, because Black is up a rook. right? Being the difference between being up a rook and being up a rook and a knight, but being massively behind development, this is increasing the odds that black is going to make a mistake. Watch. Queen f6. Black defends the pawn. I'm just going to sort of pause here. Is that this position, if white still had the rook, so if this were a regular game, not an odds games, this would be known as the Muzio Gambit. So it's actually a real opening. This isn't just, white just playing randomly. I believe it's been analyzed to a draw, more or less. But rather, I'm trying to show that this series of moves of sort of sacrificing the knight and getting ready to put everything, to put pressure on f7. Because we can see that, right? The bishop is aiming at f7, the queen, and the rook. It's practically an open f-file. All we need to do is get rid of this pawn. Everything's aiming at f7. We know f7 is the eternal weak point. If something bad happens on f7, black is basically dead. And we can see there's a huge potential there. So black has to be extraordinarily careful. So that's why black plays queen f6, tries to keep that he tries to keep the pawn there to block the f-file. And then after knight goes to c3, white keeps developing. Black says, aha, I can play queen goes to d4. I attack the king, I attack the bishop, and now I've won a piece. After already winning a piece. After starting up a rook. Queen takes f4. So I want you to, again, to look at this, is that, sure, black is up a huge amount of material, but most of that material is sleeping on the back rank. It's doing absolutely nothing. And so in some ways, white is actually ahead in material, or at the very least, white is certainly ahead in time. His pieces are doing more, and black needs to be extraordinarily careful. Black plays knight e7. He finally develops a piece. Great. Knight goes to d5. Aha. Notice that white wanted to cash in on f7. But the queen is defending it. By playing knight goes to d5, that interrupts the queen's defense of f7. Now f7 is in danger. And how do you defend f7? And also notice that there might be some sort of knight f6 check coming in. It seems like moving that pawn has created weaknesses that white is able to cash in on. What do you do as black? Well, black took. All right, but now f7 falls. King stuck over in the corner. Whoops, don't do that, John. Aha, d3. Even this is now coming with tempo. Because black moved the queen early, it's being attacked, and this lets the bishop come on out. Come on. There we go. Saves the queen. Final piece jumps into the game. Notice that white only has 3 pieces. But again, black has so much of his army sleeping. His king is in danger. There's open lines. Black's toast. Completely toast. He blocks with the bishop, but this actually allows a final combination. Check. And that's game. You can't take because of the pin. Now, it's very easy, and I think some people have looked at this game through the lens of the computer. They said, black was completely winning, but then he just made a blunder, and that let white win. And I'm thinking that is, and I'm going to present to you, that is the completely wrong way of looking at this. I'm going to suggest that black played this entire game incorrectly. From all the way back here, where black's entire focus has been on winning material, when he's already been up material this entire time. He didn't need to win more material. The difference between being up a rook and being up a rook and a bishop and being up a rook and a bishop and a knight, it's so inconsequential, especially when white is just ganging completely up on f7. I have challenged a couple of people, beginners, they're rated in that 1,000, 1,200 range. Take this game. Take this very position. Play black against Stockfish. And one of 2 things will happen. Well, what often happens, it's 50-50. It depends sometimes on the setting of the computer, is that Stockfish will simply trade queens, because that is the quote-unquote best move, and then, yes, your extra material works. But if Stockfish doesn't exchange queens, if it plays with more contempt, all of a sudden you're going to find that your lack of development hurts, and Very, very often you actually lose this position, just like black lost in this position. And the most important part is that none of this mattered. That is, why are you taking this pawn, and then why are you taking this knight? Why are you focusing so much on material when you're up a rook to begin with? Do you think black would lose this game if instead of taking this pawn, what if he did this? And then he did this. Take the pawn, boom. What if instead of trying to win more material, he focused on development? Sure, he gave away a pawn. Maybe he even gave away another one. Wait, no, that doesn't work, Ash, because of check. Okay, so he doesn't lose that pawn. But now look, all of a sudden, he's got easy development for all of his pieces. He's actually ahead in development. Sure, he gave away a pawn, he's still up a rook. If black played like this, if black focused on the center and focused on development, does he lose this game? Well, probably. He's still playing against the equivalent of stockfish in the 1890s. But he's not going to lose, in, what is it, 15 moves to a brilliant queen sacrifice like that. Black had the entire wrong focus. Once you're up material, you don't need to win more material. You need to finish development, control the center, get your king safe, and then go win more material, or checkmate. That should be the focus. That's why I included this game. I feel as if so many people look at this, again, through the lens of the stockfish evaluation, and they say that black was winning up to a certain point. I want to change that. Focus on, instead of, winning, losing, I focus on the principles. Develop. Develop, develop, develop. Control the center. Keep your king safe. And maybe you're not winning as much as the computer says, but you're going to greatly decrease the chance that you lose a game like this. Because how many times does it happen in your games? I know it happens in mine. I'm the course creator. It still happens to me. I get a little bit greedy. I get a little bit cute. And then all of a sudden my opponent, even though they're quote unquote losing, they get the initiative. They start creating threats. And then one thing happens to another, especially in Blitz, especially in Bullet. That activity adds up, just like it adds up here. Whereas if you can focus on development, if you focus on controlling the center, focus on keeping your king safe, then good things are going to happen. That is the main lesson in this game. Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully I did a good job explaining that. It's kind of fun looking at this. It's been a while since I've really dug into these games, and I plan throughout the rest of 2025, hopefully, weekly or something, to cover each and every game. So that way there's going to be a video record of all the games right here on YouTube. So I think that's that. Let me know comments, questions. Love to hear your feedback, and how everyone has a super great 2025. So I'm Smithy Q. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.